In terms of the biggest threat that we're facing, I don't think there's any surprise if I were to say the biggest threat is China.
The most immediate threat has to be China.
China. We have to talk about China.
What we have is a great power in our region that is, in a very concerted way, undermining the liberal order that we've prospered under for the last 70 years. And this is not just a military problem, it's undermining the liberal order militarily, technologically, economically. We also have, I think, a problem in terms of the public's understanding of the real risks of war. Are we, as a nation, really prepared for what might be asked of us? What would it involve for Australia to participate in a war in Taiwan? What are we willing to contribute and sacrifice?
The risk of conflict is going to be really high in the mid-2020s. So I think the most immediate challenge for Australia is how do we strengthen our capacity to respond to this environment. Not because, we want to be fighting in a conflict. What we want to do is to try to deter that conflict, and we need stronger defence capabilities to achieve that deterrence, if indeed that's something we're capable of doing.
The most immediate threat has to be China because of the impetus that it has, the momentum that it has, and because we're behind the eight ball. So we need to invest now. I mean, the best time to plant a forest was 100 years ago. The second best time is now. So we need to actually start ramping up capability defence spending, but also think the long term. What are the things that are going to sustain us for the longer term in terms of supply, support, alliance relationships, partnerships, friendships, the skills, the human capability? All those need to be put into place.
I think the most pressing threat we face is dealing with economic coercion and misinformation from countries like Russia and China. They may pose a military threat, but they prefer to use a whole range of other methods to coerce nations. So we need to be on the lookout for a whole range of other things that these countries might use against our people and our systems of government over the coming years.
The threats that Australia face could come from anywhere. In order to be able to respond at speed, we need to have a fabulous education system, and we need to have all of our citizens having the opportunity to respond to economic and educational and other opportunities all the time. We need government that can be flexible and fast to respond. We need industry that can be flexible and fast to respond. We need individuals who can be flexible and fast to respond. So my biggest concern is that through complacency, we'll lose that agility that will enable us to respond to whatever the threats are.